those don't square. Those are two completely different statements. If you misspoke on one of those, just say you misspoke. If you're lying, say that you're lying. Sounds like maybe the story is changing when you're around people that are going to actually like push you on what you're saying. So we have a little bit of a different video today, and this will be in some places where I don't normally post full videos, mainly on X, and I may do my other socials, I'm not sure yet, but you will see why shortly. In the video, I'm going to be going over something that blew up a little bit, I guess you could say, as far as my reach, it's considered blowing up. But on X, a while back, I made a post. It was on May 15th, so at the time of recording, like exactly a month ago, is when I made this post. For a little backstory, if anyone is not familiar, you've probably been living under a rock, but there are some pastors that came out and said that they were part of these secret government, secret government meetings, that they there's a secret information, and they were told that they need to prep their congregations to be ready for information that is going to come out. Basically, saying that they have some information that's going to come out that's going to make people not believe in Christianity or leave the faith altogether. When I first saw this, I thought it was a load of crap. If I'm being completely honest, it did not help that Perry Stone was the first big name that I saw that was pushing this. But anyways, I watched people talk about it, didn't think too much of it, and then I saw Mike Winger put out a video, and we're going to get back to that. I'll actually have a little segment of his video in this video, but he put out a video. I think it was about an hour. It's probably over an hour. It's a Mike Winger video. But he's going over this, and he's going over specifically different individuals that were speaking about this. And one that caught my attention was Alan Didio. I believe is how you say his last name. I'd never heard of Alan before. I'm just not really into a lot of the stuff that he is preaching and saying and teaching. I think there's too much of a focus on end time stuff. Now, I do think that Christians should talk about end time stuff. I think Christians should talk about aliens and topics like that. But I think there is a lot of camps that put too much of a focus on trying to figure out specifics for the end times, and they do it at the point of sacrificing, actually preaching the gospel. So he's just never really been on my radar. But after this, he was. And then what really stuck out to me, I had just watched this video from Mike Winger, and then I watched, which I watch usually daily, TimCast IRL. I watched the day after, and I had seen Tim had mentioned several times that they were going to be bringing on these pastors that were involved in these meetings. And I'm like, okay, and I watched that episode, and then I made this post the day after. So I'm going to show the post. There's a little bit of a back and forth I have, and then we're going to go over a video where Alan says that he addresses my claims. So here's my initial post. Say, I watch almost every episode of TimCast IRL, usually the day after while I'm working. Alan Didio, and I tagged him, was on last night, and I found some of his statements interesting, so I threw, and I misspelled through because I'm remedial, this together quickly today. Also, on a side note, thanks to Mike Winger for doing the real legwork on this. If you haven't yet, you should go check out Mike's full video on this. and check out TimCast from 5/14/26 as well, and then I linked both videos. Well, I have the video here. I'm not going to play it right now because it is going to be in the next the video that we watch where Alan's responding, and I don't think anything is cut out. I haven't like actually gone and checked that specific, but there's one thing in there that I think if you're going to cut anything out, that would be what you cut out. And I think he just tries to skip over it and say that he addresses it. But anyways, he responds. Actually, Mike Winger shared this, and I think that is probably why he ended up responding. I don't think I'm a nobody. I don't think I probably would have gotten a response from him or any traction at all on this from him if it had not been for Mike resharing this. So he responded and said, "Hey bro, I haven't seen the Winger video, but I believe he's sincere. This is just a complicated issue to unravel, and I can understand why others would look side eye at this. I just sent your clip to one of the gentlemen who organized this meeting and asked if I in any way misrepresented who they were and what they do. They approve of what I've said, confirming I was accurate, and this will be verified in the future when they've completed their work. Since a lot of their work involves human trafficking, we're all willing to take the heat for being ambiguous to protect their identity. More to come, so stay tuned." Now, I didn't end up addressing this, but this is in Mike's video, and he says he hasn't watched Mike's video. I think he should watch Mike's video because Mike actually has a clip from the guy who organized this, where he says that things that were claimed to be in these meetings were never actually claimed. The guy that put it all together is Mike Winger has a clip from him on some other podcast or something, or maybe the guy's own podcast, and he flat out says there are things that were claimed that were never actually claimed. So I respond, and I said, being ambiguous isn't the issue. Saying completely different things is. Don't know that I believe you watched this 2-minute video because that should have been pretty clear in it. You should watch Mike's video. Would love to hear what you have to say about it. So I threw my video together in 10 minutes. Like it did not take much time at all, and you'll see like it's very, very. I just like clip, and I had just finished watching the TimCast episode, and I had watched the Mike Winger episode the night before, and so I just grabbed the clips. They're both still pretty fresh in my memory, so I could find where they were pretty quickly. Excuse me. So he responds. He said, "I'm sharing what the gentleman said after watching your clip, and that they approve of my description because all of these things can be true at the same time, and that will be verified in the future." But they can't. They can't, and we're going to get to that. There are things that he says that are completely contradictory. They cannot both be true. And he skips right over that. He addresses other things that could possibly be true, where maybe he said it one way one time and slightly different way another time, where maybe you can kind of see something there, but the instance where it is explicitly different stances or different ends of the same thing, contradictory statements, he skips over. And he says, "I'm happy to have Mike on my program or me on his to answer any questions. I always feel a conversation is much more fruitful." So I replied, "So they watched my clip and said both your descriptions where you are saying two different things that are counter to each other are correct." And he said, "We don't see two opposing things. Sometimes I'm referring to what they did in the past were, and others what they are currently doing. I'd be happy to clarify if I felt I misspoke. Knowing what we know, we don't see a contradiction." So again, that wasn't one of the specifics that I was hammering in on. He says, again, attempting to dance around explaining their work in the past and in the present to express how serious their work is no easy task, but we're doing the best we can. So I think he is trying to focus in on this, because this is one of the things that I saw him getting a lot of heat for, was he said that they were government officials, or maybe somebody else said they were government officials, and he signed off on it. But there was a claim that they were actual government officials, and then there was another claim later on that they weren't actually currently government officials. They worked in like contractors for the government, or they were previously government officials. So there's a lot of different things that came out. I lost my spot. So my my response to him, I said, "You said they weren't classified documents, and they were classified documents. That's the big one. Keep that in mind. You said they were government officials, and that they weren't. You signed off on exactly what Perry Stone said and claimed you were in that meeting, then said he was a second-hand account." He replied and said, "I'll be doing live streams and spaces in the future and will be happy to answer these at length. By the way, Perry Stone never said he was in any of these meetings, so that one example shows how quickly things get twisted online. But good questions, and we'll get to them." And he sent a thumbs up. I said, "Why can't you answer them here and now? Seems like it should be be a fairly simple thing to answer." He said, "It is pretty simple. Doing a video response should be fine for you as well. Not sure why that's not good enough. Doing a video response allows me to play your clip and answer it directly. It's better for you and allows your audience to see your positions for themselves on our other major platforms." Okay. And he said, I said, "You can still do a video response, but it's pretty simple to just answer too, unless you're putting it off hoping people forget or buying time to figure out how to square the circle. Doesn't seem to be a legitimate reason to not just answer the question since it's so simple." He said, "I'm being very gracious and attempting to honor your question. We'll be playing your video in the next week, so we're not putting it off. Stay tuned." Then I had one final comment. I said, "Who is we? And if you really want to put the stuff to rest, you should respond to Mike's video. Far more thorough than mine that I threw together in like 10 minutes. So that is where we are at currently. I continued to go back to his page, trying to find where where he possibly would have responded, or anything like that, and I had not seen anything, and I was going back regularly. I gave him about 5 days, and then I started checking. I didn't say anything else. I left it until this popped up. So Mike Winger posted, "Disclosure Day appears to have been just a bit overhyped. That fits well with the general theme of disclosure over the recent past." And I commented and said, "Still waiting on Alan Didio to follow up on this. Kind of weird that he hasn't." And I put the post where he said he was going to follow up within a week. He said that they did about a week later. Doesn't recall the name of the program. Now, I'll admit I was wrong there. He did, and I didn't. And he did share the link here. So let's look at what the video actually addresses. Now, this video, there is, I think it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I'm not going to play the entire thing. I'm going to play the section where they talk about what I put. I will probably try to let it just go through on its own. Excuse me. And then kind of address. Well, I may stop it. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Here is the video. Now, there's some other things he talked about beforehand, and then he gets into my video. I think the section with my video is about 6 or so minutes long. So we will Yeah, let's check it out.
People to kind of ask questions. Somebody reached out to me on X and sent me this clip of me. I think I was on TimCast and a couple other things. And I've had to watch this 5 times to try to see where there's a contradiction in what I've said. Because there's actually no contradiction. It's just...
There's no contradiction. He had to watch it 5 times to see where I could possibly be finding a contradiction at. And what's funny is the big one that I pointed out, the first one when I gave like the 3 contradictions that I just threw out there. It was the first one. And if you go back through the message chain, it's the one that he refused to say anything about. And in this video, he refuses to say anything about. So, let's watch.
What were you saying, Evan?
He said, I don't know that I believe you watched this 2-minute video because that should have been pretty clear in it. So I haven't seen it yet either. I'll see.
Oh, this will be your first time looking at it.
This will be my first time.
And I'll say as well, I did tell him, if he's going to respond to something, respond to Mike Winger's video. Mike Winger put in a ton of legwork to put together a long, lengthy video that is far more thorough than the 1-minute, 54-second video that I threw together in approximately 10 minutes. So mine would be the much, much easier one to respond to, and that is what he chooses to respond to. I still think, I don't know, Alan, I don't know if you're actually going to watch this. I suspect you probably won't. Maybe you will. I might be wrong. But I think if you really want to address this and show that you're being truthful about this, I think you should respond to Mike's video, not my video. And Mike Winger's video isn't entirely about you. There are other individuals that are brought up. You can just respond to the specific things that are about you, by all means. I don't expect you to respond to other people's comments, but I think if you really want to put this to rest, I think that's a fair ask.
So let's take a look at, and I actually sent this video to the individuals who hosted the meeting, because that's what this video centers around, how I describe those individuals. And said, did I say anything wrong there? And nope. I also sent it to another person, or shared with another person what was being said, who had done extensive investigation into the Kennedy assassination and has a lot of experience in looking into government agencies and para-government agencies. And he said one of the mistakes people make is the attempt to oversimplify. People are either in the government or they are not in the government, that there's this binary, and that actually doesn't exist. There's a whole world of gray. And when I say that, I'm not referring to the gray area of somebody who worked in the phone company and was hired by the government to go fix the phone lines.
So again, I'm the big one that I brought up, and it's in this video, it's in the posts that I made, the back and forth. It's not even, do they work in the government, do they not work in the government? I brought that up, yes. But that's not the big one that I brought up, and that's not the one that he continues to skip over and refuse to acknowledge.
So I'm talking about people who work in the government along these lines of what we're talking about, UFO, UAP, and as well as they're doing investigations into human trafficking in connection with these things, which is why their work is so important and why we're keeping them anonymous. But we don't have any issues with people asking questions. I can always misstate something easily. It won't be the first time and it won't be the last. If I do, I'll say so. But I just wasn't able to see it. So I looked through this video multiple times. I want you guys to see it with me. Let's take a look at it together, and let's see where they say there's issues. Of course, chopping things up can be a little misrepresentative, but let's take a look anyway.
And I will agree, sometimes chopping things up can misrepresent what was said, but I do feel like I made sure to provide enough context in the conversation. You could hear everything that he was actually saying. Nothing was intentionally cut to make it sound like he was saying something that he wasn't actually saying, or anything like that. So
apparently you were there. So what really happened? And
slow this down because now it's really fast.
Apparently there were multiple meetings. So I know of 2 of the meetings. I was invited to both. I attended one. The first one seemed too weird for me. But these were not government officials. We go into this Airbnb. We have to turn our phones on airplane mode. There's no recording of the meeting because they're working with, there's highly classified information. They're working with individuals who are operating, who were there with us, who are operating under aliases or under different names. And these people who are working in government agencies are pleading with pastors. They're pleading, please prepare your people. So these were people who have worked within the government, but they are conducting an investigation, a private investigations. And these people who are working in government agencies. So when we talk about this secret meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret, but because they're working with highly classified information. They wanted their identities to remain.
Wait, Pastor, just to clarify, was this sponsored by the government? Because
No.
you said government meeting.
No.
So why did people get the impression that it was a government meeting?
I think Perry Stone, when he came out and did kind of secondhand information.
So real quick, because he goes into Perry Stone here, he skips. Well, I think he jumps into comment.
Here is a news type post.
So yeah, he jumps in the comment about the Perry Stone thing specifically. But notice he skips over, does not even address.
So when we talk about this secret
So here, when we talk about the secret meeting, what?
meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret, but because
When we talk about the secret meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret. That was on May 14th.
who have worked within the government, but they are conducting
So listen.
an investigation, a private investigations. And these people who are working in government agencies. So when we talk about this secret meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret, but because they're working with highly classified information.
May 14th, when we talk about secret meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret. But back in February, it's talking about highly classified information.
We talk about this secret meeting, we're not talking about the information being secret, but because they're working with highly classified information.
So is the information secret or is it not? Like, how is that? Those don't square. Those are two completely different statements. One, you're saying the information is not secret, and one, you're saying that the information is secret. That's not, like, they're just different statements. You're saying different things. Now, if you misspoke on one of those, just say you misspoke. If you're lying, say that you're lying. But I think that is one that you should address. And maybe there's an answer. Maybe there's an answer there, and maybe I'm seeing this as too black and white. But I cannot think of any other possible answer here, other than it's either a misspeak that you are not wanting to answer, or it's a lie. If I'm wrong, tell me how I'm wrong. I'm fine being told that I'm wrong, but explain to me how I'm wrong. And then he goes into there's another gentleman here. I don't remember his name, but he asks about the something with Perry Stone.
They wanted their identities to remain.
Wait, Pastor, just to clarify, was this sponsored by the government? Because
No.
you said government meeting.
No.
So why did people get the impression that it was a government meeting?
I think Perry Stone, when he came out and did kind of secondhand information.
Here is a news
Wait,
type
right there.
post.
Let's go back for a second, because I want to answer that before they get into the Perry Stone meeting.
So I saw this, and I thought he was going to answer that. I thought he was going to address the big thing that I'm bringing up here, the fact that he said it's not secret information, and that then he said that it is secret information. I thought when he paused it here, he said, let's go back, I want to address this before he gets into Perry Stone. I thought he was going to address it. Nope.
And so I wrote the statements down to just trying to piece it all together. Mm-hmm. These were not government officials, and then it cut to a clip of me saying they're working with highly classified information, and a clip of these people are working within government agencies, investigating government agencies. And all of those things are true.
So there, he is affirming they were working with highly classified information. But 2 weeks prior to this, when he was on TimCast, he said it wasn't secret information. So it kind of sounds like maybe the story is changing when you're around people that are going to actually like push you on what you're saying.
All of those things can be true at the same time, especially when you consider
the things that you listed can all be true at the same time, but the things that you've actually claimed cannot. Again, go back, listen to the video I put together. If I am editing it in a way that is intentionally misleading, show the full clip in context. If I'm editing it intentionally to where it's misleading, show the full clip in context. Or better yet, respond to Mike Winger's whole video.
That these people were working within government agencies, because sometimes people hear were and they hear are, which one is past, one is present. And they are currently investigating government agencies. And in that investigation, they are working with people within government agencies. They are interviewing them. They have connections. They have sources. So all of these things are true. So when they're working with classified information, they do have classified information that they have access to. I don't know what they've shared with us, but I know that they, as far as what classification those things are. Right. But all of these things can be true at the same time, especially when you're dealing with something as complicated as this. So I actually sent this clip, including the entirety of it, to those individuals, and they said, no, all those things, perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Perfectly fine.
and I could see if someone hasn't listened to your full explanation in either of these videos, they would think that this is a contradiction. But if you actually watch both videos, they both are saying the same things. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And anytime we're asked about anything, to get down to specifics, we always say the exact same thing. Always say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Always say the exact same thing.
So let's see what the next part is, because I think it was a different thing that they were concerned about.
Yeah, let's see. Right here.
Here is a news type post where it says, wow, pastors are being told to prepare for UFO disclosure. And it has quotes. Now, if you look at the bottom, Alan Didio, pastor bishop, he's called Alan Didio. It says, I was in that meeting and he's telling the truth.
I think Perry Stone, when he came out and did kind of secondhand information that
says, well, I'll just skip first. Let's look at Perry Stone here. He says, I was in that meeting. Right? The meeting, this becomes a fabled meeting. The meeting was government and pastors. He goes, I was in that meeting and he's telling the truth. Who is? Perry Stone is telling the truth.
I think Perry Stone, when he came out and did kind of secondhand information, that video that went viral of Perry Stone,
Yep.
he mentioned that he was talking about, I think Burleson called into one of these meetings.
Well, yeah.
So he mentioned that a government official was a part of it.
Yeah. All of that is true.
Yeah.
All of that is true. None of that is contradictory. And Mike Winger's just doing what he thinks is right. He's a good guy. Everybody take it easy on Mike Winger. Be nice to Mike Winger. But because this is certainly a confusing issue, it certainly can be, especially when the social media gets a hold of it, begins to twist it.
Perry Stone was right that there was a meeting. Well, actually, there were two meetings, but
yeah, when Perry Stone first came
now.
out with that. So when I woke up whatever morning that was and saw multiple clips of Perry Stone saying there was a meeting where people were telling pastors to prepare for disclosure, and he even mentioned a government official. And in the meeting, so the meeting he's referring to, I was invited to both of those meetings. And the main attack that was coming against Perry Stone was, there's no meeting. There's no such thing as a meeting.
I'll listen to the a little bit more here, because I don't think he addresses anything else from my video, but I want to be sure I'm not leaving anything out.
And even the attack against Perry Stone saying no government officials involved. Well, no, actually, Burleson was involved in one of those meetings, and I was aware of that. I was aware that Burleson was involved in one of those meetings. So with all of that, and I've spoken with several people, my response was simply, yes, the meeting took place. He's telling the truth about the meeting. There was a meeting where these things happened. Not that every single detail of what he said, because he wasn't there. Perry Stone wasn't there. And even the person who was addressing the seeming contradictions was saying, Perry Stone was in these meetings. No, see how easy it is to get things wrong?
Yeah.
No.
So if it's a concern that things are being put out there that are incorrect, why not address the things that are? He said, he is backing up Perry Stone's statement that the meetings happened. So why not address the things that are being said that aren't true?
He wasn't. He never said he was. He was reporting on something, and actually we're discovering that there's even more meetings that we're unaware of. And we're looking into that right now to see who exactly is doing these other meetings and what is involved. So we're actively involved in this investigation.
Yeah. And who are these sources, by the way, that are telling people that Perry Stone was in the meeting, or like it's just
social media
watch,
it's just social media going out of control.
You have to watch it though, because that's so dangerous.
And people, well, why would you say it's true? I was in that meeting. Because I was in that meeting.
Okay, I think that's it. And I don't know who the gentleman on the right here is or was on your screen. Yeah, him. I don't know. I don't know his name. I've never watched any of Alan Didio's stuff prior to this. So I'm I'm not aware, but he made the comment. What was it? If the stuff's kind of going out of control on social media, but it's not really social media that's doing it, and that's why I'm saying, watch Mike Winger's whole video. There are contradictory statements coming out from these individuals. So that's my my 2 cents on this. Was it that what I would like to know? Was it secret information or was it not secret information? Because Alan Didio, you've said both. You said it was classified, and you've also said it was not classified. It was not secret information. So which is it? And was it misspeaking or was it lying? And if it's lying, then it's a problem, because it seems that you're lying in order to boost yourself up, which is kind of a prideful thing, and would be a problem for someone who is in a ministerial position or leading a ministry. But I do think that should be addressed. Honestly, I think you should address all of Mike's video that is pertaining to you, because I think there are issues that are brought up there, and I don't think you will, because I don't think that you can. I think you can, if you're honest. I think you can, but I think it's something that it would be detrimental for you to be honest about. Just my thoughts. But yeah, so don't believe this stuff. A lot of times people that are in circles like this, people that jump at any opportunity for something that starts to get traction like this, it just, take it with a grain of salt. I don't think that we should avoid questions of things like aliens or things like that. As Christians, we should answer those questions. We should be able to answer those questions. We should think about those questions. I think when I've put thought into this. I actually have let's see if I can find it. I have a video where I've actually talked about, if a UFO lands on the White House front lawn and these beings walk out, does that automatically mean Christianity is wrong? No, it doesn't. That doesn't automatically mean Christianity is wrong. There are situations where that can happen and Christianity still checks out. But yeah, and there are people that I think look at questions like this and do it in a healthy way. Blurry Creatures is a channel that talks about this, and I think talks about it in a positive, productive way. So, but that is it for this. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. And I'm going to get off of here before I die. I am sick, and I'm continuing to pause this constantly so that you don't hear my coughing. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some hot tea and honey. So thanks for watching. Use discernment. Don't just jump with anything you see that is sensational. As Christians, we need to have discernment, and I think most of these individuals, it's pretty easy to see that they're lying. And yeah, so thanks. God bless.